Thank you so much for joining me today. We're here to talk about Code 8, Tales of Lincoln City, man. You announced Code 8 back at Fan Expo Canada. What made that the right time to expand, or made this the right time to expand the universe into the comics?
We've been thinking about it for a while. This as much as it was the announcement, it wasn't really spur of the moment. We've been fooling around about, some version of Code 8 that isn't the features. Although we still want to make a third, and part 1 and 2 have been wildly successful, which is awesome and means a ton to us. We'll get around to that, but they've become pretty big machines. You don't want to go backwards, right? You want the third one to be even bigger than the second one. So we've talked about trying to figure out something else. Our amazing fan base from our Indiegogo campaign and people who have supported Code 8 from the beginning always ask us for something and something that they can be a part of. And we couldn't include them in the fundraising or producing side of Code 8 Part 2, as it was a big Netflix movie. But this was a way to try and get everybody back involved and give them something that, for $1 you can take ownership of, or for a lot more, we'll write you into the comic and maybe kill you or something.
I love that. Now, the original Code 8 was one of the most successful crowdfunded sci-fi films ever. How does it feel to return to that same fan-powered model with Indiegogo for this new chapter?
Oh, man. Really, the fundraising and the Indiegogo campaign of Part 1 is the only reason we were able to make the movie that we did. Right. The rabid fan base showing up for us on Netflix and making it a success is the only reason we got to do Part 2. So, we love it. We love our fans. We did a day on Part 1 with over 150 background. And those were people who flew in from all over the world and wanted to be a part of the movie. And we wouldn't have been able to afford the scene if we didn't have people doing this. And, we got to have dinner and hang out with them after. We saw some Code 8 tattoos. We've met people who became friends because of the campaign and now travel together and are good friends. So it's awesome. It's really, really cool. It means a ton to me, and it means a ton to Jeff, to Steve, to the whole Code 8, crew. And the best part about making these movies is we get to make them with friends and family, and doing that with Indiegogo and with our fan base and being able to make something with people and let them take ownership of it. That's kind of what Code 8 is built on. So it's the best.
I love the fact that we're getting new stories in a graphic novel format, simply because now we can start telling stories that aren't restrained by budgetary restraints. Talk to me about telling these new stories in the graphic novel format versus a film or TV show.
Yeah, you nailed it. We want to. First of all, we love the world building of Code 8 and Lincoln City. So this was a way to kind of show people some of the backstory that we had already talked about and built for the features, just for our own sake, from Jeff and Chris, from a writing standpoint of kind of the history that they had talked about with Connor's dad, with Lincoln City as a whole, with these characters. And this is, like you said, a way to do it without breaking the bank, but still something super high quality. And, the graphic novel and comic space is one that I'm a fan of, but I've never really been a part of, other than, live action versions of things. So this is really cool for me, selfishly, just to get to do it in that format. Also, we get to work with some great people. Like when we started, we kind of just threw it out there, and some really talented people started putting their hand up, and we were like, okay, maybe we can do like the really high end version of this, because you never want to deliver something, that's kind of mid. You want to do something great and deliver something for this fan base. And we put together a great team. And, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Anytime I get sent, like, here's the new mock-ups, I'm just like, this is awesome.
I love that. I love that. Also love the Code 8 fan base. I feel like they're a rabid bunch that wants new content. Now, you've worked with Chris and Jeff from the beginning of this universe. How has that creative partnership grown as you kind of keep finding new ways to tell these stories from Lincoln City, in Lincoln City?
Oh, I mean, Jeff and Chris, they're the best guys. They're super collaborative. They always talk to Steve and I about what they're thinking for our characters. But I mean, they're just so good, and they work so hard. And, you know, there have been, people don't see the behind the scenes. Like, there was an entire version of Code 8 that we made before Code 8. Like, we made the short film, and then they wrote a script, and then they scrapped it and made a new script, and they took stuff from it, but it was like, it was an entirely different script that I loved, you know.
Oh, so there's a lot left on the table there.
Oh yeah, they've done a ton of homework, a ton of research, and a ton of world building, and they always wanted it to feel like an intimate story set in this big exciting world. And I think with that, you just get to see a little bit behind the curtain of Lincoln City. Like, I love the title because it kind of tells you what you're getting. You're just getting a little more of Lincoln City, a little more of that world building. We touch on it in the opening title sequence of part 1 with like automation and how things became the way they are in Lincoln City. But a lot of people want to see that. And like, it's not quite an origin story, but it's a little bit of an origin story. It's like Connor's origin story and his father. And it's fun when you get to see the history of these characters, especially since I can't play a young version of Connor anymore. So yeah, you know, getting to be in the comic and seeing it that way is very cool.
So says you, man. I feel like every time I've seen you're like de-aging, and I don't understand how this is working. But I love the fact that, like you said, that Tales of Lincoln City Volume 1 kind of sums up what this is. And can you talk about deepening the world building and some of the new story threads that we'll be getting within that first volume?
I don't want to give too much away, just because that's a lot of what we're bringing to people. But you're going to see Connor's origin story. You're going to find out about his father. You're going to see a little more of this criminal underworld in Lincoln City. You're going to see some of the major players who kind of led to the players that you saw in the movies. And you're going to see how and why things are the way they are. I think what's really cool is, you know, we've even talked about, one of the first ideas for the comic was the time between part 1 and part 2, and just doing Connor's time inside the like his time in prison. So we have a lot of stuff to pull from, and we have interesting timelines, and you know, hopefully this is successful, and we can do the Garrett origin story. Like, there's stuff that people want to see, including us. Like, Steve and I would love to see that. Jeff and Chris would love to dive into that. This is hopefully just the beginning. But yeah, it's like we've always tried to keep the same tone and spirit of the way we made the first short film, the first movie, the second movie. Even with Netflix, they still allowed us to make it the way we did the first one. And we're doing the same thing with the graphic novel. People are only here because they want to be here. You know, nobody's doing this for a paycheck. Everybody's doing this because they take ownership of it, and they think it's cool, and they're fans. And that's the best way to make something.
I love when the fan base is included in things like that, because like you said, they have that passion for the project, just like Code 8. Now, for fans thinking of backing the campaign, I love that you talked about, you know, there was a scene with 150 people in there, but for fans thinking that they're thinking about backing the campaign, what exclusive or in-universe extras are you most excited about sharing?
Oh man, I don't know if there's any left, but the highest perk is we'll write your likeness into the comic.
That's a dream come true.
It's very cool. And I know we've sold a couple of them already. I don't know if there's any left at the time of us doing this interview, but if there are, I just think if you have the money and you're a comic book fan, that's kind of the coolest thing. But one of our big pieces here was we wanted to have a low entry point because money's tight. The world's in a weird place. And, you know, if you want to be involved, I think our lowest perk is $1.
Love that.
And that's just, you know, great. Come on in, be a part of the team, tell your friends. By the way, if you can't spend $1, No problem. Tell somebody about it. I mean, with the second movie coming out, nobody could spend anything. And people took ownership of it and told their friends and told their family and said, here's the sequel, to my movie I made, this little movie I made, Code 8. And we did 60 plus million accounts on Netflix. So like, it's the best. It's great. We have over 100 million across both movies. It's incredibly special to me and to the team. And I'm also going to be signing a ton. I believe there's a certain tier level of perk where it comes signed. And I mean, the fans of Code 8 know Steve and I signed thousands and thousands of postcards. So, you guys can mess me up. I'll sign all day and all night and
I love that.
and get it done.
I love that. Hey, look, I got to ask about Upload, because at the end of Upload, the ring still had Nathan's memories. Do you think that Nora downloaded him to give them that happy ending? I
mean, look, I think it's a subjective end, or it's a
very open ending.
It's in the eye of the viewer. To me, it's just the memories. It's just, it's the copies of the memories he wanted in the memory part, or when he was with, when he was being kind of mini tortured, and he wanted to save the special memories with her. And I think that's how I saw it. I didn't see her, making a new clone of him, because I think it would just end up being sad and not being the same guy. I think they had a sad goodbye, and I know some people loved it, some people hated it. I thought it was beautiful and honest. And this was a guy who started the show pretty selfish and egotistical and would have done anything for himself, and ended the show just wanting the person he loves to be happy. And there's so many tie-ins to the first episode where she talks him down from jumping into the torrent and talking about how beautiful life is and how it's more about the journey than where you get to. And I thought it was really beautiful. So in my mind, it's just memories that she can look back on, when she feels like it. It's a photo album. But hey, I'm not going to turn anybody away if they say that she went home, downloaded him, and they lived happily ever after. That's fine. That's fine with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I got to ask you about Greg Daniels, because he's absolutely incredible. He's on fire right now. Would you be open to working with him again, either in this Office spinoff, The Paper, or even like the rebooted King of the Hill? Or
dude, I would play
King of the Hill, I guess.
I would play a tree for Greg Daniels. The guy is a genius. He's the best boss you could have. His son Owen, who plays AI Guy, is one of the writers on the show as well. I love him. Greg's whole family is great. I spent 7 years working with them, and I learned a lot as an actor, but I also learned a lot as a father, and just from him in general. And I would love to work with Greg again, and in any aspect of anything, to be honest.
I love that. Now, look, last question I have for you. With Code 8 growing into this multi-platform franchise, do you see these graphic novels as a stepping stone towards something even greater, with more live action stories to come?
Yeah, I mean, we want to make more, whether it's, part 3 at some point. That's a couple years of Jeff and Chris's life. So sure, it's more than anything when they're ready. So yes, definitely we want to do a part 3. We've talked about some kind of a video game. I know it would be really cool. I'm a huge gamer, so that would be like dream come true for me. We love the graphic novels. We love our team. We hope to make more. I mean, honestly, on the live action front, like if the right idea came to us, like a series or limited series, like just something that takes place in this Code 8 Lincoln City universe is cool to us. And it's so rare to get to make something and own it. And we were able to do that because of Indiegogo, because of our fans and working with them and having enough of a team to be like, all right, we can do this. We can take a risk. Let's make it together. And now we share in the upside.
Man, Robbie, this is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for being gracious with your time. I can't wait for everybody to see what you guys got cooking up. This graphic novel seems like it's going to be amazing. I know you're going to be releasing a little bit of a preview very soon. So, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it. Good to talk to you.